What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Friday, October 1st, 2021. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the roller skating, game playing Janet Garcia.
Yo, what's good?
October, we're here. We made it, Janet. I know how much you love Halloween. You know how much I love Halloween. We know how much Blessing hates Halloween, but we made it. We're here. It's happening. How do you feel?
I feel good. I feel like the first is always exciting because it's like the start of a new month. Like you can, do your goals, start fresh, sort of. And I also love October because this is this from here onward. And I said this when the pumpkin cream cold brew came back, but from here onward, it's all rise. Like we got October, we got Thanksgiving. You get like that long break. Hopefully, I know some people might not have Thanksgiving off, but like you have Thanksgiving, then you have like Christmas/holiday season. Then it's New Year. At one point you're just kind of mailing it in, and we're getting toward that point every day. And I really like that. And it's also fall, and fall's typically a busier season for games. I know this year's not quite as chaotic as other years have been, but there's still
so crazy though.
a lot of big releases. No, I'm feeling it. I'm definitely like, okay, I'm like, how do I do this and like watch 30 horror films? Cause like that's always a thing, like, you know, so we'll see what we could do. But yeah, I'm excited. It's fun. I put the candy out yesterday. I went to Walgreens at 12 in the morning because it's open 24 hours. I was like, we got to get candy in here because we don't have any candy.
See, here's my problem, Janet Garcia. And I respect you. I love working with you. You're a fantastic voice in the video game industry. This is why you're not king of Halloween. All right. Because you're talking about Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. All right. October 1st, I'm excited to be here, ladies and gentlemen. It's finally spooky season officially. Nobody can get mad at me for putting up all my Halloween decorations. Yeah, this is
That's
Pumpkin.
very cute. That's
Pumpkin's
very
been around
cute.
forever. Pumpkin, well, in various forms. He was assassinated several times, but he's too strong to die.
That's adorable.
I have been decorating. Jen has been decorating. Last week, and we went to the pumpkin patch. We have all these amazing photos of it. October 1st, though, is bittersweet for me because you say it only rises from here. I feel like it's starting to die. Like it's like October's almost over. It's October 1st. We get to celebrate. But at what point do you go, man, Spirit Halloween won't be open much longer? Man, I'm gonna have to. I've been to Target, Janet. They have first off a great Ghostbuster displays. All right, that's where I got my Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. You might have seen on my Instagram, right? I have a 6-foot inflatable Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I digress. They have a great Ghostbusters Halloween display, but you know what's happening in that back aisle, that back corner? Christmas lights already coming out. Fuck off with the Christmas lights. Let me have my time. This was September. That means as we get deeper, then I'm gonna have these fucking turkeys out. Like everybody cares about turkey all of a sudden. It's heartbreaking. I'm excited to be here.
It's the way of the world.
I'm excited to be here in costume. You're in costume. You got are these special headphones or is this just attachments for the headphones?
They're just attachments. They're like little horns that you could, like, if you're listening to the audio feed, it's like you could just tie it around your like head normally. Because I have these, and then I have several like, I don't know what they're called. I guess like little headbands that have like different like horns or ears or like different kinds of like Halloween type stuff. So usually I try to like wear something that's like Halloween based for like all of October. And then I have this somewhat ugly, like I got it from Daiso, these like little purple and orange like hair piece things. And yeah, this is like a casual thing because I'm like, I want to save like the more intensive fit for PS I Love You. So that's why I'm like, I didn't want to go too hard. And like, you know how it is, like I got the checking in the savings and like you can't go too crazy. I have a dream of like eventually just having a budget set aside to drop like stupid money on Halloween every year until I have like the ultimate palace of Halloween trash. But for now, this is what I've built so far. Pretty excited.
I love it. It looks great. No, and that's the thing too, is like, my wife is very much in your boat every year, adding to the Halloween trash bins.
And that's so good. And
it's so exciting.
Yes.
The living room right now looks like something out of a Halloween like magazine because Jen did such a great job putting up the Halloween thing, like the Happy Halloween like word. And then she put in the spider webs. She put in the other thing. She got the candles. There's candles everywhere. I bought this light up ghost. I got a dancing pumpkin. Kevin, you hit a little thing and he goes, dude. Cool Greg today sent me a Target new one that's a little pumpkin where the monster heads come out of it and sing too. You goddamn right, I'm getting that. Don't worry about it. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, it's October. We love it. You should too. If you're at home right now, I urge you to kick off your shoes and put on a costume because this, ladies and gentlemen, is Halloween Daily. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about in the game world today. Are we going to get a new Metal Gear Solid and Castlevania? We are getting an update on where New World is. And also there's a new Bandai Namco logo, if you can believe it. We're going to talk about all this and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about If you like that, be part of the show. Patreon.com/kindafunnygames. Roosterteeth.com. No, I screwed that one up. All right. Patreon.com/kindafunnygames to be part of the show. That's where you can get the show ad free. That's where you can get it with the exclusive post show. That's, of course, where you can have a good time with us and get it benefit. Let's call a spade a spade. I am falling fucking apart, Janet Garcia, because when you know how stressful
I wasn't going to
work
say
day
anything,
is?
but
Work day is stressful. Then you get home, you're supposed to relax. Work day ends, and then immediately it's baby stuff. How close to this baby are we? What's happening? Is that a normal pain? Is that something else going on? We are T-minus 6 days away from my baby being born, according to but that's bullshit. Everybody knows that's bullshit. Could be later, could be earlier, Kevin. Nobody knows what's happening.
Write it down. It's going to be the date.
Also, like,
Clark
I feel,
Egon
okay,
Miller.
Here's the thing. So I don't want to scare you, but this story popped into my head and I have like no filter.
Let's just move away.
Okay.
I assure you it's about babies.
Yeah, well, I was gonna mention that, like, I was born like in my apartment building. So like, yeah, the stress. Yeah, like I was just like they're like, oh, it's ready now, and then I was just born. My dad delivered me, actually.
That's
wow,
awesome.
that's really cool.
So stay on top of it.
Did he cut the cord or did he wait for like an ambulance?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know offhand. I'm sure he remembers. But like my dad, he's like, I couldn't tell you, which way from Tuesday. But yeah, like he grew up in Mexico and he like was around like farm animals and stuff. So it's like the same general concept. Wipe the face, make sure that the baby can breathe and stuff. But like that's like I can't imagine like having like lived through that, like the fact that like all mixed in with everything with the constant like monitoring and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely a stressful time, I'm sure. So
well, it's just there's so much going on, and like I'm a man who likes to plan, obviously, and so like if it like I know you can do inductions or whatever, but if it was just like it's all the time like checking in with Jen, like how you doing? How you feeling? Anything? No? Okay. You know what I mean? It's like that thing of like, you don't know what's going on, then something does go on, blah, blah. It's just, and then of course my wife, God bless her, obviously making a human being or whatever. She's obviously been, we will do an entire podcast, I'm sure at some point where I just talk about how superhuman my wife is, let alone how crazy the female body is for being able to grow a person for 9 months and then be all set, right? But we're at the point, right, where God bless her, Jen just can't do anything for herself, right? Like she can't pick things up off the floor. So I'm doing that. So it's like every chore in the house is mine too. So like you're running around doing all this stuff and then you finish work and then you do the thing and you do the so I'm just like exhausted. And I swear to God, if anybody in the fucking chat or the YouTube comments does the thing right now, you think you're tired? No, Greg. Fuck you. All right. I don't need to hear that right now, let alone the fact that
I'm here for bitter Greg Miller. Like this is normally I only get this kind of hate when Tim is here. Like this is new from you.
It's fucking it's gonna be paternity leave, and that's the thing is I can't wait. Because that's what it feels like right now. I feel like I have 2 jobs. I have the kind of funny job, and then the being ready for baby job, which there's a bunch of things under the umbrella that isn't just me sitting there going, man, I can't wait to be a Ghostbuster with my kid. Like when I was just being a dad for 3 months, super stoked about that. Yeah, I know I'll sleep in 2-hour spurts, maybe if I'm lucky or whatever. Fucking fine. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I'm totally fine with that. It'll be fine. And I'm still going to do a lot of chores. I understand all that, but it'll be focus. It won't be that I'm trying to make Jen breakfast. And I'm like, oh, fuck, there's a meeting in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like I got to balance that. It'll just be make the goddamn breakfast. Give the kid a cigarette. Walk Portillo. It's easy. Taking care of kids is easy, and I'm excited for that part. Anyways, that's why I have been just falling apart the last 3 weeks of these shows, I feel like.
You made it like a few minutes into the show, though. So, like, shout out to that. Like, the first, 4 minutes, fire in your bag. Then you're like, you know what? I'm tired of faking this.
Well, I just need to say, because I don't even know if the audience notices it, but keep in mind that, for the kind of funny version, right? We've been going 6 years, right? I made up all these goddamn intros. That's why I don't write them down, right? Like everybody else who comes into Emulator do their own thing, which they should. They usually write them down and go off them, right? I know what I'm supposed to fucking say, but I'm just so lost in this fog of worrying about something else that I can't. I'm trying to get it back. And I'm falling apart, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be fun. Anyways, patreon.com/kindoffunnygames to be part of the show with your questions, comments, concerns, get all the benefits, blah, blah, blah. You can do it for Gamescast. You can do it for PS I Love You, which we'll be recording on Monday with a very special thing. No, maybe not. Doesn't matter. And then all the other things that are going on, yada, yada, yada. If you have no bucks, toss our way. No big deal. You can watch us record the show live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, just like Lexi Gunner is, ZOVGM is, and Kyle R tags are. If you're watching live, you have a special job. Go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. Tell us what we screw up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, and listening on podcast services around the globe each and every weekday. housekeeping for you. Guess what, everybody? Next Thursday, the Blessing Show is back. Remember, Blessing is doing a new episode of the Blessing Show with Roger each and every Thursday of the new month. So every new Thursday, there's one there. So that'll be this Thursday. It'll be live. Remember, he does them as a YouTube premiere. So the edited show will go up on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames at 8 a.m. Pacific time. You can go watch the live premiere. You can chat with Blessing in there. Maybe Roger's there. Probably. Who knows? If you need more random, kind of funny content, remember, I interviewed Will Wright this week. You can go to kindoffunny.com/Will Wright to find out all about his new game, Proxy, and watch me live a dream, as I adore SimCity, as you know, both from my old IGN Let's Plays that so many of you found me through, and then also the fact that Poe and I used to play SimCity way back in the day. Kindoffunny.com/Will Wright. And then next week, Blessing and Andy are taking part in Panda's All-Star Nickvitational, a huge Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl tournament featuring a bunch of big YouTube streamers like Ovilee, Moist Critikal. Yeah, these kids these days. Ludwig and more. It's all to raise money for the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Andy and Bless need your help. Competitors in the tournament and their communities have 1 week to raise money to bid on their favorite character. That's based on the money you donate. Right now, you can go to kindoffunny.com/Bless and kindoffunny.com/Andy to donate so the guys can bid on the character of their choice. And remember that the money all goes to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. The tournament is happening on October 5th at noon Pacific, twitch.tv/Panda Global. If that wasn't enough and you're watching live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, right after this, the boys are playing some Halo, and I think they are raising money for kindoffunny.com/Bless and kindoffunny.com/Andy so they can get whatever Rocco's Modern Life character they want to play in this game. You know, Janet, I don't know what the Nigel Thornberry's in, and I never watched the Thornberries. Did you watch the Thornberries?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
it was solid.
I loved Rocco. Thornberry's
Rocco's Modern Life. Yeah, that was good too.
Rocco's Modern Life. B-52s. Come on. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Banksky, but Pranksky, right? That's how I'd say. And Blackjack. Today we're brought to you by Liquid IV, ExpressVPN, and Demon Slayer, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. Seven items on the Roper Report.
Baker's dozen.
Number 1, Janet Garcia. Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake. A new Castlevania. Konami is back. We go to VGC where Andy Robinson writes, Konami is set to ramp up its premium game development with new installments and remakes for its biggest franchises, including Metal Gear and Castlevania. That's according to publishing sources who spoke to VGC anonymously because they did not have permission to discuss their projects publicly. Konami's premium games output has slowed down significantly in recent years. The last new Metal Gear game was 2018's critically panned Metal Gear Survive, while the last mainline Castlevania release was 2014's Lord of Shadow 2. In the past decade, the company has arguably grown a bigger reputation for its pachinko gambling machines than for its premium PC and console releases. However, following a restructure to the company's game development divisions earlier this year, Konami is now focused on bringing back its biggest brands to the premium games space, VGC was told. The first of these titles will be a new Castlevania game, which sources described as a reimagining of the series currently in development internally at Konami in Japan, with support from local external studios. Also, Greg, note as I jump in here, I do want to call out, I like to boil down articles. I don't want to read everybody's work. I kind of feel weird reading an entire article. I am reading Andy's entire article here because it's so good. Please go to VGC and support them. Really good work here and a really great piece of what's going on with this, right? So anyway, sorry. Castlevania game, reimagining the series, currently in development internally at Konami in Japan with support from local external studios. There's been much speculation that Demon Souls studio Bluepoint could be working on a remake of Metal Gear Solid. However, VGC was told the series is actually being worked on by an external studio, Virtuos. No, is that how you say that? Virtuos? I got that, you think?
Virtuos?
Virtuos? It's like Virtuous
Virtuos.
Project.
Yeah.
Virtuos. Established in 2004, Virtuos is one of the largest game developers in the world and focuses on supporting the development of major AAA games or bringing existing games to new platforms. Recently, it worked on the Switch ports of Dark Souls Remastered, The Outer Worlds, and BioShock Collection, as well as contributing art and content to blockbusters such as Battlefield 1, Uncharted 4, and Horizon Zero Dawn. The new project is currently early in development, and multiple sources suggested it would be centered around a fan favorite entry, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, rather than the original Metal Gear Solid. Konami also intends to release remasters of the original Metal Gear Solid games for modern consoles ahead of the larger project We Understand. Finally, multiple Silent Hill games are currently in development at various external development studios, as per an earlier VGC report from February. One of these projects was outsourced to a prominent Japanese developer earlier this year, we're told. Konami should publicly showcase its plans at major shows next year, disruption from the pandemic permitting. Konami pulled out of this year's E3 2021 show due to timing issues, although at the time it confirmed it had a number of key projects in the works. Konami's Japanese bosses are understood to have historically pushed back against most pitches to outsource its key game brands, which is a big reason why previous pitches for Silent Hill games, such as one by Until Dawn Studios Supermassive, weren't greenlit. However, following the disappointing performance of recent in-house titles, Metal Gear Survive and Contra Rogue Core, VGC's sources said the company has become more willing to contract outside studios for its major franchises. VGC first reported Konami's softening of its stance over licensing its game properties earlier this year in a report revealing that the company has outsourced a new Silent Hill game. Last year, Konami ramped up its games efforts with the creation of a new external publishing program with which it hoped to sign more Western developed titles. Janet, I've talked forever. What is your take?
I feel like there's a lot of things running through my head. I mean, I think one thing that really surprises me is just the fact that like rather than like the original MGS, it'd be Snake Eater, which I think is also funny given our previous conversation on Snake Eater. But I love that game, and I think that'd be really cool. Anything related to like the older Metal Gears would be honestly just appreciated, especially with like, well, I don't want to say the older ones like don't age well, because I think they do, but I do think having that polish for modern consoles would be like greatly appreciated. I do think for Silent Hill stuff, I got a bad feeling about that. I just feel like it's not gonna hit. So I have like mixed feelings about everything that's here. Some of it seems exciting. Some of it seems like we'll see how this actually pans out.
And that's the biggest thing about it. I think reading it and going into it and like, oh man, when I saw the headline, I started going like, oh yeah, this is fucking awesome. Yeah, of course. Like, it's nice to see Konami go back. We're gonna make AAA games. We're gonna make big games. We're not gonna just make pachinko machines and arcade stuff. We're gonna do Castlevania. We're gonna do a Metal Gear. We're gonna do a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, which of course, if you remember years ago now, when they did one of their pachinko machines, they did one that was Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, and everybody was gushing over the cutscenes and how good they looked to see, you know, boss our big boss there talking to boss and them going back and forth in the field and yada. I was like, oh my god, this looks so great. But then it's like, oh yeah, but and like somewhere in the middle of the articles when I'm like, wait a second, no, Konami fucked Kojima. Like, Kojima won't be involved with these, and then it gets weird of like, oh, like, you know, when we always sat around and we've done like oh man, I hope Blue Point's working on a Metal Gear remake, and I hope it's that PlayStation is either picking up as they did yesterday, right? Blue Point, they're gonna do this thing. They'll be the bridge. They'll bring in Kojima as like, you know, ambassador or some shit, or like, you know, he'll be a part of it. PlayStation will smooth this out. To get here and be like, oh man, Konami is not going to smooth this out with Kojima. They're not going to bring, you know what I mean? This virtuous people. They're not going to be like, oh yeah, here's this. And I'm sure the developers would love that. I bet Konami still has a chip on their shoulder about it. And it's like, oh, interesting. So then it's like, oh, we're back to that situation of like, oh right, remember that, you know, a few years ago, the whole fuck Konami thing. Like, that's where we are with a Metal Gear thing, I feel like. Then you get into a Castlevania, which I have no attachment to. You're going to go make a new Castlevania. Awesome. You know what I mean? You're doing something with Silent Hill. Great. There's so many awesome horror games going on right now that are inspired by Silent Hill, that draw from it. Whatever. Cool. I'm excited that they're reaching out to outside developers, right? That they are actually letting people in to go play with these. I wish one of them was Supermassive. I wish Supermassive was making a Silent Hill game. But this is one of those, this is cool, but it's weird, but it's interesting. Like, I'm very trepidatious about this news story, Janet.
Yeah, there's also just so much in it that it's like, okay, this, you know, seems interesting, but when is this going to actually be relevant to like the mass market? Because like they're throwing around a lot of like projects here, and that's a lot of work. So it's like, okay, when are we going to actually see this surface into something that's like tangible? You know, it mentions like finally, you know, multiple Silent Hill games are currently in development across various studios. Are those going to be in some form in conversation with each other? Like, what's the order? What's the cadence? What's the expectation from it? Like, is this gonna, you know, there's still so many questions left, and there's just like a lot of big name, and it's like, okay, cool, you do have like access to all these IPs, but what is that actually going to look like in practice? And is this going to be that thing where like, you know, which is fine because that's how, you know, news breaks sometimes and it takes a long time to develop things, but you know, 10 years from now we're like, oh yeah, we had heard about that, okay, and then it's, you know, so it's like, all right, well, how relevant is this, and will this actually make it all the way? I think too, like, you know, and VGC does this a lot, which is awesome, like breaking stuff really early or having like inside access early, but it's like, this could easily, one reason we might not know about this officially is because it's not the point where they feel comfortable sharing it officially. So, you know, I don't know how much of this will even get off of the ground or what we'll see, but obviously people are really excited about those IPs. But we've also seen so many cases where people were like, I saw it was Castlevania, I saw it was Silent Hill, I saw it was whatever. And then it was like, oh, but then like I saw what it was and I'm like, man. So we'll see. I also think that I'm a little surprised at the remastering of the original Metal Gear, as opposed to, I just feel like we're starting to move away from remasters as something that's desired in the industry. Like I think remakes have been, we've seen so much of like what people can do with remakes, both from like a fidelity standpoint and a creativity standpoint of sort of capturing the essence of a game without directly replicating it, because as you know, game design evolves, the stuff that hit in the 90s or the 2000s, et cetera, doesn't feel quite the same. And, you know, like we always point to RE2 Remake as like the pinnacle of what a remake could be, because they did such a good job at preserving the core identity while also making the changes needed for someone like me, who was like a first time player for that game, to feel like, okay, I see what the value is here. I see the great design, and I'm not distracted by the sort of like quality of life trappings that are locked into the original version. So to have it be like, oh, it's going to be a remake of Snake Eater, but then like remasters of just the original, like, I don't know, then what's the order of that going to be? Is it supposed to drop at the same time, but then it doesn't? Like, it's just, there's a lot here.
The remasters, right, are just easy money. That's all we're talking about here, is you put them out in a new package with a new thing. And it's also worth pointing out, of course, remember, for PlayStation, if you have a PlayStation 5, right, like, you can't go back and play some of these Metal Gears, right? They are trapped on the PS3 in the HD collection. Obviously, Xbox has a much more elegant solution that you can go play all those things, right? If you want to play Peace Walker, unlike when we did it for PS I Love You and I had to break out my PS3 and play off of that. Like, I feel like the remasters are just easy money to be like, cool, we understand you like the original Metal Gear. We think Kojima's work was amazing too. Here is every Metal Gear collected, or not even collected. We'll charge you $40 for each one as you go. But they are remastered. They have this visual thing. They have yada yada. They're all there, and it builds hype to get you to, here is Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, the remake, to what you're talking about. It is this brand new. Let's go. You brought up the conversation we've had recently about Metal Gear Solid 3. Stemming from PS I Love You, but also stemming from the fact that, you know, Barrett, Mike, and Blessing Wright on youtube.com/kindoffunnyplays are playing through all of the Metal Gears, and they are in deep Metal Gear Solid 3 territory right now. And the conversation I had, which I know launched 1,000 things because I said it in the Twitter version before I expanded, you know, Metal Gear Solid 3 to me is the most overrated Metal Gear. I think it's fantastic. I love all the Metal Gears. It's just not my personal favorite, but I that doesn't mean I don't think it's a 9.
I can't wait for you to underrate it again when the remake comes out.
I've done it before. I remember when I did the Metal Gear Solid HD collection review at IGN, I said something snarky about the Metal Gear Solid 3 story, and people are like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And it was something for years I would get like, "What the fuck are you trying to say right here?" I'm like, "Oh."
They still haven't figured it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Get together, people.
So yeah, like Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater is such a popular Metal Gear, and it is such a good Metal Gear, and I think it is so different than many of the Metal Gears that came before and the Metal Gears that came after, that I think it does make a lot of sense to remaster it, especially when you consider, you know, even though they haven't put anywhere else out, and goddamn, I'm telling you right now, if you talk about remasters and you put this out too, if they could give me Twin Snakes, right? If they gave me the remake of Metal Gear that was the GameCube Metal Gear remake that I loved, even though it wasn't as good as the first, like, do that. You've already had a remake of that and put it back out and make money off that again too. Like, I don't know where the money would go with Silicon Knights and who has property rights and yada, 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 but that'd be fucking cool. Now, here's one. Tamor Hussein in the chat says, Twin Snakes is straight toilet. Hey, it was no Metal Gear Solid, but Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes was fun. I had fun on the GameCube. I enjoyed the first-person perspective, all right? Put it out. Make your money. Be happy with it. But all that said, we're here. I'm allowing myself to get excited. I think number 2 on the Roper Report is important, but let's not get too excited about that first story. Remember, this is Konami. I'm going to go to Eddie at GameSpot. Kevin, if you can click on that link and show some of the tweets. Konami recently rebranded eFootball Series. Konami recently rebranded eFootball Series, launched this week, but eFootball 2022 did not go over as well as the publisher might have wanted. The game has suffered from a number of issues, including player models that don't look very realistic and gameplay issues. And now Konami has apologized and stressed that it continues to work on improvements to the live service game. After the release of eFootball 2022, we have received lots of feedback and requests regarding game balancing that includes pass speed and defense operation. We would like to acknowledge that there have been reports of problems users have experienced with cutscenes, facial expressions, movements of players, and the behavior of the ball, Konami said. Kevin, go to the one right above it, because Janet actually pays attention to FIFA. Look at these faces. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh my god,
right
that's like giving remember that and I think it might have been that Ronaldo statue that they made a few years ago at that airport? It's giving that. Yeah.
We are sorry for the problems, and we want to assure everyone we will take concerns seriously and strive to improve the current situation, Konami added. Social media reports have documented the issues with eFootball 2022, including the face scans for popular players like Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Sorry,
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Those are the ones we just looked at, if you want to put them back up, Kevin. Like two of the most, even though I don't know these guys, I know that I've seen these names, right? I understand what's going on. NPCs in the crowd, too, also don't look good, with players joking that they seem to be fitting more of the PS1 era. So again,
okay, the crowd ain't never look good. Let's just throw that out there. I'm not defending eFootball, but the crowds never look good. They always are like one generation behind, and I don't know why.
This is
more than one generation, though.
Yes, no, for sure. But I'm just like, the crowds are always like the worst thing. But yeah, this sucks. Like, I think that the thing is, like, when I heard, and I've been on FIFA, like I said, since FIFA 2017 was my first FIFA game, maybe 2016 actually. So I've been playing FIFA since then, and much like oftentimes in the sports sim world, like there's one shining star, and then everyone else is kind of just competing for their own market share. And when I first heard that, like, Konami was doing this rebrand to their soccer game and calling it eFootball, and they're like, it's gonna be free. I'm like, okay, like, I wasn't gonna play this because, like, I'm a FIFA person. I don't really have to look anywhere else. It's just FIFA. We're just playing more FIFA, the way, like, people might be that way with 2K and other sims. But with this being free, I was like, it could be like an interesting thing to check out. Like, what are they doing differently? What could be something that, FIFA might want to emulate? Like, this just might be an interesting thing to look at as, like, someone that likes soccer video games. And then when I heard in the lead up, like, this does not surprise me at all, because in the lead up, if you've been following, like, the eFootball coverage, they were straight up like, we gonna be real, it ain't gonna be ready. Like, we're gonna launch it, like, not ready. Like, they straight up almost, I wish I had the quote, but they basically verbatim said that. So then when it wasn't ready, it's like, oh, that's like what they said. So they're like, and obviously I don't think they necessarily intended to or wanted to release it with this many issues. I think the fact that they, like, had to issue an apology is, like, very telling. And it kind of shows that, like, there is that old, like, I guess, like, negative connotation to live service games a lot of times, where, like, players often, especially if they're not interested in live service, will be like, this is just a way for you not to finish it and release it. And I think that's, can have its own negative connotations that, like, I don't vibe with, of, like, kind of, dismissing developers and their process and their work and da-da-da. But this is a case where I'm like, oh, you're doing exactly, like, what people accuse these games of doing, exactly. Where you're doing the worst. You dropped it, and, like, there's more to add, and it's not done, like, and also, like, there's degrees of, like, not really ready. Like, if the pasta's not really ready, like, that can be kind of okay. Like, overcooked, undercooked, you might not notice. You're putting sauce on it, you're putting cheese on it, it's all good. But, like, if the meat's not ready, like, you can't eat that. You're gonna get sick. You know what I mean? Like, there's levels to not being ready, where it's like, it's not really ready, but, like, it's good enough, Like, oh, I'm not really ready, I'm just gonna toss on a jacket or something, versus, like, I just got out of the shower, I have no clothes on, Like, there's levels to not being ready. Someone in the chat said al dente. Yes, exactly. So, that's really unfortunate, because I feel like the idea of having a free-to-play soccer game is inherently intriguing, in the sense that, like, it's just easy access for people to jump into, and maybe you could just, do something a little bit differently. And it did seem like at first they had, thorough intentions to, like, have an interesting take. And then again, once they said, they're like, I'll be real, I ain't gonna be ready, I'm like, this thing is not gonna be good. Like, let alone the fact that it's hard to make these games. Like, I think people don't realize how impressive FIFA is. I know I'm always, like, the FIFA apologist, and I don't do the the microtransaction stuff. So I can't comment on all that where like y'all got that drama like I don't know. I just play like local, like I'm just old school, like it's 2003 in my mind. It's just you got 2 controllers, it's just me and my brother, that's it. It's been that way for many years. But just like the impressiveness of like moving the ball and the fidelity and like there's a lot of things I want from FIFA, even as someone that doesn't do the microtransaction stuff. But like it blows my mind that they put out a game of that quality every year. So like when you enter that sports sim space, especially because you're realistic sports sims, you have to like bring it because there's a standard already established that people want. And like it's gonna take a lot to like win over a FIFA audience if you're trying to do that. And even if you're not trying to do that, there's still like it's just a lot. There's like levels to this, and like it's unfortunate that this game launched in this state. But again, I'm not surprised because they basically were like, we told you earlier that it's not done.
And this is what I'm saying. This is the company that we want to get excited about Metal Gear, Castlevania, Silent Hill from. I'm just putting it out there. Obviously, different things, all sorts of stuff, but this is Konami. And I don't know, the VGC article about the Metal Gear, Castlevania, Silent Hill stuff talks about, they're pivoting and changing how the restructure of the company's game development divisions earlier this year. Great. And obviously you can make you can be a publisher and publish one bad game and make one bad game and not make everything. It's just that still thing of like, how bad is the blood right now between whoever's running Konami and Hideo Kojima? And are they not even going to mention his fucking name when they talk about these games and they do all these things and the remakes and whatever? And then, Silent Hill, do they have their head wrapped around modern horror? Are they trying to do something different with it? Are they trying to be the super same? And Castlevania was never my jam, but I know people love Lord of Shadows or whatever. So we'll see. Real quick too, I just want to remind everybody, there's something we call kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. This is where you can go and correct us when we get something wrong. Twitch chat went on fire when I said Lionel Messier. They're like, no, Greg, you're thinking of Mark Messier from the New York Rangers. I'm like, yes, I am. That is correct. I don't know how to pronounce. Is it Messi? Lionel Messi?
Mm-hmm.
See, why nobody, you're wrong me. All you in the chat want to sit there. This is like Janet. I'm sure you're well aware of it. Chat, I'll give you a free piece of advice here. Remember, you're out at a nice dinner, right? Someone next to you, something horrible happens. There's an emergency, a heart attack, whatever. You don't yell, somebody call 911, because you Twitch people will just sit there, fucking frogs on a stick, all right? You're not going to fucking pick up the phone. You got to look at somebody and say, you, call 911. That's what you do. Otherwise, look at y'all, just bumps on a log, sitting there, not doing a goddamn thing, laughing, saying it's done. Guess what, everybody? I understand there's a lot of Europeans watching right now. Here in America, we don't give a shit about soccer, all right? And we're proud of it. Kevin, are we proud of it?
Some of us
proud as fuck, boy.
That's what I like to hear. All right, so get out of here, Mark Messier. You don't know. No, Mark Messier, you could stay, I guess.
This is why I don't vibe with American culture. Like it's stuff like this where I'm like, 4th of July, you could keep it. You could keep it.
Yeah, no, that's not great. Number 3 on the Roper report. Oh no. I'm going to do number 3, then I'm going to go to ads, Kevin. I'm putting ads in here so I don't forget because I almost forgot there. Oh, I tried to save a Google Doc. That's not what I want. Number 3 on the Roper report. We have an update here about New World from the developers themselves, talking launch servers and more. I'm going to read their letter. Greetings, adventurers. It's been an incredible week of growth for the New World community. The demand we've seen has been staggering, and we continue to be humbled by the number of players that want to explore Eternium together. Am I saying that right? While it was certainly our aspiration to welcome massive numbers of players into the game during launch week, we were frankly surprised by just how many adventurers washed up on Eternium shores. Over 1 million players entered New World on launch day. Each day after launch, that number has increased, translating to long queue times for some of our more popular worlds. Since our launch on Tuesday, we have more than doubled the number of servers, and we are working to increase the capacity of all available servers to support a higher population cap. Our team has been working around the clock to add as many servers as we can, and will continue to do so until we stabilize wait times. While we do that work, there are options to get into the game quickly. If you are a player logging in for the first time, 40% of our live servers have low or no wait times. We encourage you to seek out those servers and get playing. We are also working hard on a feature that will allow you to transfer your characters to a different server. So if you choose one now just to get up and playing, you can make a different choice later to play on a server with your friends. Our goal is to release this feature next week once we've thoroughly tested it and are sure it's ready. Prior to its release, we will provide detailed information on how the transfer process works. We know how important it is to be able to play with your friends, so we're putting this feature at the top of our priority list. Thank you for your support. You can't wait to see you in Eternum. Janet, have you played this? Did you jump into New World this week?
No, I have not. I don't think that's really my kind of game. I might still check it out just to like be able to get a sense of it. And I like playing stuff that's outside my wheelhouse because every now and then one of them clicks and then I'm like, this is the exception for some reason, but it's not really my jam. What about you? Have you jumped in?
Yeah, on launch day, we did a stream here, youtube.com/kindafunnyplays. You can go check it out. And I enjoyed myself. And we talked about it in Gamescast afterwards with Andy, who played a lot of it too. I found it to be an MMO, which is great. And I do love a good MMO, but it was that thing of like, I didn't see the personal hook for me. But ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to hear that from me. The one, the only, the big Kev dog, Kevin Coelho. You've been playing a lot of New World, Kevin. How's it going for you?
Oh man, I'm level 56 at logging, which means I've chopped down probably like 3,000 trees. I might start mining because I mean, pretty much any tree except the stupid blue ones, like I chop it down, no problem. I'm having a great time. I am. I'm having a blast. There are some like serious issues, like getting in. I was number 1100 the other day. So
Jesus Christ.
But that went by. It was like 45 minutes. But there's also because it was like 9 o'clock, so midnight East Coast.
Sure, it's
we
hot
cut
time,
down a lot there, yeah. But the big issue is Joey and Lo are playing on a different server.
Right.
So like, what am I gonna do? She's level 29 or 25 on hers, which is crazy because I'm level 15. So it's like, do I start a new character on the server? Do I wait when they open the gate so that I can transfer over? But they're going. You know, at this rate,
you're in this for the long haul, right? You're not. This isn't going to burn out for you next week, is it?
You know, you never know. You never know.
True. I would say, I mean, like, what I want to do is commend New World. I mean, I think when I jumped on to sign on that first day and I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to play this new game, Janet. To immediately get presented with that the server list and then the world list inside the server, I was like, oh, right. I forgot that this is how certain MMOs work. And I had to go to Slack and be like, what are we playing on? I had to wait for them to tell me so I could do it. And of course, it was launch day. The server they were on was super popular. So I did it, but then I had to wait too. And it's like, I wish... And I'm surprised that when you're making an MMO, they wouldn't have thought this through already of like, oh man, servers are going to be crazy and popular in certain ones. We should be able to move people around quicker. But it is a tip of the hat that, hey, they're being vocal about it. Our number one priority is this. We hope next week is a way faster turnaround than I would have thought for something you didn't have ready at launch of this importance. So it's great they're doing it. It's great they're tackling it. But yeah, I mean, the reason you play an MMO is to play with other people, right? You could go play any RPG or any action RPG under the sun if you just wanted to level up and ding, right? Like if it's the fact you want to go grind something with your friends and have something to play together, then that's why you go into MMOs. So the fact that they're on it, I think deserves to be commended.
The one thing they do have to fix with playing with your friends is like the mission structure. It very much grouping together doesn't feel like you're grouped together. Like you'll get XP for some stuff that they're doing together, but like picking up missions together is always a challenge. And like, I feel like that's something that really needs to be tightened up.
Okay. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Your update from Big Kev Dog. I know they're streaming it next week on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, later on youtube.com/kindafunnyplays. But right now, why don't I tell you about patreon.com/kindafunnygames? On patreon.com/kindafunnygames, you can write in to be part of this very show. You could also be part of PS I Love You XOXO with me, Janet, and some clown. You could be part of the Xcast. You could be part of the Gamescast. You could do it all over there. Plus, you could even get the content that's happening on Kinda Funny, like the Kinda Funny podcast that's up right now with Devin Sawa. That's right. Idle Hands' Devin Sawa and the Chucky Show. I digress. Most importantly, for patreon.com/kindafunnygames, you can go there to get the show ad-free, but you're not on patreon.com/kindafunnygames, Jack. So here's a word from our sponsors. This podcast is brought to you by Liquid IV. Working out, meditating, treating yourself with so many different types of self-care, it can be hard to remember one of the most fundamental ways to take good care of yourself: hydration. No, Liquid IV is not an actual IV drip, but it does hydrate you faster and more efficiently than plain old water. It contains the perfect balance of vitamins that help you hydrate quicker. How do I, Greg Miller, know so much about Liquid IV? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I like to drink too much, and often after I've had too much to drink the next day, we use Liquid IV around here. I've also used it, when you're sick, maybe off a plane, you took a plane ride and you're like, I'm really thirsty, you know what I mean? You're dehydrated because of the pressurization. Use it. But also, if you learn to get your drink on like Greg does, throw back a few brewskis like Stone Cold Steve Austin the next morning. Liquid IV does help. I mix it in with my water quite a bit. Grab your favorite Liquid IV flavors nationwide at Walmart, or you can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code KFGD at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order when you get better hydration today using promo code code KFGD at liquidiv.com. Our next sponsor, why it's ExpressVPN. Going online without ExpressVPN is like leaving your dog with the nearest stranger while you run into the store. I would never do that to Portillo. Most of the time, it's probably fine, but you never know. What if they're a serial dog napper? Well, every time you connect to an unencrypted network, like a cafe or a hotel, your online data is not secured. Any hacker on the same network can gain access to and steal your personal data. It would take a hacker with a supercomputer over 1 billion years to get past ExpressVPN's encryption. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's been easy because, of course, ExpressVPN has been a sponsor of Kinda Funny for quite some time, a long time, and the one, the only, Cool Greg has used it quite a bit. All the internet surfing he does, all the different shows he's watching, all the different things he's streaming. Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/games. That's expressvpn.com/games, and you can get an extra 3 months free. expressvpn.com/games. And our final sponsor of the day, Demon Slayer. It's time to become the blade that destroys demons in Demon Slayer. Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Hinokami Chronicles, launching October 15th on PS5, PS4, Xbox, and Steam. Tanjiro comes home to find his family murdered and his sister transformed into a demon. Well, that sucks. Understandably, my boy Tanjiro is devastated by this and decides to become a demon slayer to restore his sister's humanity and seek revenge on the demon that slaughtered his family. Based on the anime Demon Slayer, the game's adventure mode lets you relive your favorite memorable moments and thrilling battles. Then there's a versus mode where you can choose any combination of 2 characters to face off. With exhilarating gameplay and a whole bunch of skills and characters from the anime, rise up to become the strongest of the Demon Slayers. Pre-order Demon Slayer and unlock 2 bonus characters and get early access to the game. To pre-order, just click the link in the description. You're allowed to admit it, Twitch chat and people who are listening to ads. You're gonna miss that Demon Slayer ad read. Because it's another one where the chat goes alive, Janet, with Greg has no idea how to pronounce any of these words. Why is he reading this ad?
I feel like it's not, when it's a fictional stuff, like it is so hard to pronounce like these words. I was having this conversation the other day in my chat with Pokemon because like I couldn't like say one of their names, and I'm like, I don't know how they're all said because there's like a cajillion of them, and I don't watch like the show where I'm like getting, you know, constantly learning this knowledge and stuff. And it's like the amount of times I've done VO for Pokemon stuff and had to like in the booth, I go on YouTube and I'm like, how do I say it? Okay, don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up, because that's all the only thing people are gonna come. How do I know if you know how to find the gem in the da-da-da if you can't say was it Ponyta correctly?
To be clear, the chat's like, but Greg's fucking up real words. These are names from, yes, Janet's not saying that. Janet's telling her story about Pokemon. And I'm telling you, yeah, like, I just don't know. I didn't know how to pronounce that. And
I will say like some inside baseball for like names. If I catch it, or sometimes like I mess up and I'll put something in like a show, like any show I'm doing. And then I realize, oh my God, I don't know how to say this person's name. And then I'm just like, oh, we just got to go. We just got to drive through it because I have no choice. But before, if I do catch it earlier, I will go on like pronunciation.com, YouTube, and then I'll put in parentheses. So if you've like get it, especially Games Daily, like with me, where there's like different people from different places in the world and businesses, well, there'll be like a very like jankily phonetic name that I just have to like carefully read through.
You've
but
seen
yeah,
me do that on the shows, right?
Oh,
and I mean, it all comes down to having time. Like the amount of times I'll be in a story, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm coming up. I didn't see this ahead of time. Because obviously, I rolled from a meeting to this to that.
I'm like,
whatever.
If I murmur over this, maybe no one will know.
And the funny story about the
ignorant.
ads, and I know like I'm on Patreon, I don't get this. We're not actually talking about the actual advertisement. We're talking about the recording of it. Like it was a legitimate thing of I had 5 minutes and Raj was like, I need this. Like it didn't get done. I'm like, fuck. And so I jumped in there and I was like, I got it for you, Raj. Don't worry. Sat down, got to that ad. I'm like, are you this is oh shit, fuck. I'm sorry. And I just did my best, everybody. Speaking of doing your best, number 4 on the Roper Report. Xbox is doing their best with accessibility. They put up a giant post today along with an awesome 40+ minute presentation on their stage, Phil Spencer introduction, everything, talking about what they're doing with accessibility going forward. So I'm going to read some of this. Obviously, it's up on Xbox's sites. Obviously, you can go watch the video yourself, but I thought some of the highlights were this. New game accessibility feature tags for the Microsoft Store on Xbox. For years, the number one question we receive from the gaming and disability community is, how do I know which games I can play? It's an important question because it can be difficult for gamers to know before they purchase a game if it has the accessibility features they need. To make this easier for gamers, we are proud to announce that game accessibility feature tags, formerly known as accessibility metadata tags, are coming to the Microsoft Store on Xbox, which will display the accessibility features available in each game so you can make an informed decision before you buy or download. The game accessibility feature tags will be available starting today to members of the Xbox Accessibility Insiders League, who will help provide feedback on the tags so we can refine and improve the experience for all of our players. The tags will include a list of 20 accessibility features which gamers commonly look for based on extensive user research and discussion with our gaming and disability community, such as narrated game menus, subtitle options, input remapping, full keyboard support, and single stick gameplay. Game publishers will also be able to include links to additional accessibility information for their titles. For developers, each accessibility feature includes a specific set of criteria to ensure there is a consistent bar for quality. As an example, we know that many gamers find it frustrating when a game has subtitles, but the font size is so small it's really difficult to read. Not only do we require subtitles to meet a specific font size to check our subtitles options feature tag, we also require that subtitles can be resized up to 200%. We know that beyond these 20 accessibility features, that there are other features our community would like to see indicated on games. In the future, we hope to add more tags while ensuring we don't add so many tags that it becomes confusing. The game accessibility feature tags will also be available on Xbox.com, the Xbox app on PC, and the Xbox Game Pass apps in the coming months. Janet, that alone could be a news story, I think, unto itself, but they go on with a million different things. 343 Industries talked about accessibility features too for Halo Infinite. They talked about subtitles, more UI settings, text to speech, a new movement assisted steering feature, and then representation in the games. This is their quote: representation in gaming matters to improve representation in Halo Infinite. 343 Industries worked with organizations such as Warfighter Engaged to offer new prosthetic options for players to customize their Spartans. Again, refresh. This is then back to Xbox Broad, right? Refreshed accessibility spotlight and new accessibility features. We're also happy to announce we've renamed the ease of access section on the console menu to accessibility to make it even easier to discover the accessibility features available on your console and to customize your experience. It goes on like that, right? We're also announcing new accessibility features that'll launch on Xbox soon. These include, there's way more information about these, but quick settings, color features, night mode display, globalization of speech to text / text to speech chat settings. There's going to be free gaming accessibility fundamental courses for developers launching later this month. And then there's also new features available for Xbox controllers. Lastly, we've updated this feature. We updated the feature set on the Xbox wireless controller, Xbox Elite wireless controller Series 2, and the Xbox adaptive controller to include next-gen features, including better cross-device connectivity and reduced latency. These features were previously only available on the Xbox Series X/S controllers. We will continue to update our controllers to ensure that you can play the game in the way that is right for you. Again, a huge post, a giant video that goes through all of this and is set up just like the presentations you've seen Paris do at E3. But overall, great job, Xbox, Janet.
Yeah, I love the running like thing of Xbox being like good guy Xbox. Like I think they're very like open about what they're doing at all times, willing to like pivot when they feel like they've made an error or the community reminds them that they made an error. Like they're focused on play anywhere and like, you know, allowing people to still have these experiences regardless of like what hardware they're on. And the idea of like, I really like the fact that they're updating their like older controllers to have some stuff that the newer stuff has. So it's not like, oh, to get all the features and all the accessibility, you got to like pay for this extra hardware. Like I like that they're thinking about that. Obviously, maybe it would have been better if that was done earlier. I think stuff like this could always be done sooner, but the best, you know, there's like a saying that like the best time was yesterday, the second best time is today. And I feel like they really take that to heart and seem to be like putting in a lot of time and effort and transparency into like wanting this to be a thing, wanting to create a little bit of a form of standardization where it's like, okay, when you're playing on Microsoft, on Xbox, you're going to have this certain standard because we have all of our studios go through these practices. I like the fact that they're having like free courses for developers where it's like, okay, you don't know how to do that. Okay, but, you know, we're going to provide that. Like, I think it feels like they're thinking about this from a lot of different angles, which I think is cool. And, you know, I'd like to see more like other players in the space do similar stuff, at least in terms of like putting the conversation out there, because by putting this like post out there, we can get, you know, actual accessibility critics, people that have an expertise in this, to actually look at it and break it down further, and then therefore like add in more information that I might not know, that other people might not know, that like Microsoft might need feedback on. So I love that they have this stuff going out there. I think it's so cool to have it forward facing for if you're figuring out what games you can play, because that's a big thing, like in coverage for accessibility. So yeah, I think this stuff is super cool.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's such a great one of just like kind of out of the blue. They've been working, not out of the blue, obviously, they've been working really hard on it. And, you know, familiar faces in the video. Of course, Steve Saylor, the blind gamer, pops up in the video talking about what accessibility means. And he's been such a great voice and he's worked with Xbox on so much of this stuff. Like, there's been a lot of hard work going on. It's nice to see it bearing fruit. And again, yeah, I think something that benefits everybody, right? Where I think you look at something like the accessibility settings they're talking about here with subtitles and just making it easier to read on TV. Like, you don't have to be Steve, right? You don't have to have a medical condition to be like, man, the subtitles are small here. I wish they were
I can't
bigger.
stand small and like y'all, like I literally immediately always pump the subtitles to large, and like there's nothing that irks me more than when I select large and I'm like, this is large, like this is still really small and I don't understand. So yeah, I'm really glad to like hear stuff like that, because that's one of the go-to ones I use. There's a few other ones that I might use depending on like the game, in terms of like maybe like wait time, or like I really liked using for Ghost, where you can have like a visual indicator for like when the arrows are getting shot. Like a lot of, again, like, and they mentioned this in this post, that like a lot of these features are useful to like all players to just have these different options. So yeah, super cool.
Number 5 on the Roper Report's a quick one for you, and honestly, these last 3 ones are pretty quick. Number 5, Blake Jorgensen is leaving EA. This is Eddie over at GameSpot. Electronic Arts CFO Blake Jorgensen is stepping down from his post. EA announced in a filing that Jorgensen has begun the process of transitioning out of his role as CFO and COO, and with the executive expected to officially depart EA in the summer 2022. There you go. You've probably heard Blake's name read a billion times on Kind of Funny Games Daily. You'll hear another person's name, another suit's name read soon enough. So there you go. Not much to say. Just I wanted that on your radar. So when we start saying new names, that's what's up. Number 6, especially for Halloween on October 1st, Bloober Team's been very, very busy. This is a press release from them. And of course, Bloober Team made the Medium, a game that is 6 times what Resident Evil Village is.
That's not true.
Bloober Team is thrilled to share a sneak peek at their return to the world of Layers of Fear. There's a new Unreal Engine 5 teaser trailer that clues you into what this is. But then going on, the first Layers of Fear, released in 2016, made waves in the gaming industry with its unique take on first-person psychological horror experience, told from a point of view of a painter obsessively trying to finish his magnum opus, no matter the cost. This award-winning title successfully created a new direction for both the Bloober Team studio and the psychological horror genre that increased its popularity in the mainstream gaming community. Layers of Fear was later expanded with story DLC. In 2019, Bloober Team released the indirect sequel, Layers to Fear 2, telling the story of a Hollywood actor who heeds the call of a despotic director, voiced by the horror legend Tony Todd, to star in a film shot abroad on an ocean liner. The Bloober Team CEO says, quote, "I'm really glad we're coming back to this world wiser and more experienced. Here's the news. As a studio, we also have 2 other projects in the works, one in production and one in pre-production. In addition to the new Layers of Fear project, Bloober Team is also working on 2 AAA projects that have yet to be announced. You can follow them on all the social media to get more information, yada, yada, yada." Again, it's the spooky time of year, Janet. If you're going to have some horror game news out there, I'm going to toss it at you. But yeah, a new Layers of Fear coming, and then 2 other games from Bloober Team. Are you excited, Janet Garcia?
I am invested even when I maybe shouldn't be. So my history with Bloober, like, let's see what they have right before the Medium. It was
Layers of Fear 2.
Before that.
Layers of Fear.
Really? What's the other one? What game am I thinking of?
Fuck, I know what you're thinking of.
I have like a sweater from it. Like, that was them, right? Like,
hold on, I got it. I'm not looking. It's the Blair Witch one. The Blair Witch one. What do they call the Blair Witch one?
It's Blair Witch or something.
Was it just Blair Witch? Okay.
I think it was just Blair Witch. Yes. Like, so I played a little bit of that. And when I say a little bit, like, I mean, a little. That thing, I was not into it. I think it looked bad. I think it like played bad. I was like, this is not good. And that's it. That was my history with it. There's a free sweater in my apartment from someone that had it. So that's it. That's my history. I'm like, I wear that sweater a lot. And I played the Medium and I beat the Medium. The Medium was interesting. You know, a lot of people say, and well, you've played Layers of Fear, correct? Mm-hmm. Would you say that the Medium is their best project? Because I've heard that, but you might be able to speak to that more.
Let me wade in a little bit too of what you're saying, right? Where Bloober Team makes these horror games, and I don't think they've ever made The Shining. I don't think they've ever made Hereditary. You know, and I'm talking about horror movies, obviously, yes. Right? I think that they make a lot of, all right, this is an interesting / fun horror game for a bit. Like, I don't think they've ever come in and done like the here we go, motherfucker. This is the game. I would say, yeah, medium's better than Layers of Fear. I like the medium better than Layers of Fear.
So now I feel like I don't need to play Layers of Fear if the medium is better. And for the record, my medium stance is, I guess critically, I would have to lean on it being bad or mediocre. Like, that's my stance on it. But I think it had a lot of really interesting ideas. I was intrigued by like where the story would go. Like, I finished it, I didn't have to. I liked the dual reality thing, but ultimately I just feel like it's not a game I really recommend people check out. Like, that's my end all be all, and I definitely don't think it's like worse than, or would you say it's better than Village? That's not true. Yeah. That's just, and again, I don't agree with that.
That's the tweet version of this argument. So don't everybody come at me. The argument is that the medium right now on Metacritic, right, has a 71 on Xbox, a 75 on PC. I would say that is correct. I'm not telling you the medium is a 10 out of 10. I'm saying that I think so little of Resident Evil Village. I think it's below that.
I do think that part is key. I disagree with that though as well.
You're allowed to be wrong.
That being said, I'm like weirdly like down for this because like me and the medium had such a weird relationship where it was like one of the first games I played this year, and then I was like, man, like that wasn't really like at first I was like, oh, this is cool. Then I was like, it's not that good. And then I'm like, we're almost done with it. Maybe we'll come back. And then I finished it. And then I was like, oh man, that like went to weird places. But like everyone in my community was like intrigued by it. Like it had a weird hold on me. Like, I don't know. I have these like messed up relationships with these horror games because I feel the same way about the freaking Dark Pictures anthology, where like none of those are like hitting that hard. But I'll be there day one, baby. Let's go. Exactly. Like so I feel like that about this. I'm like, you know what? I do think, again, the medium had some good ideas. I think they can make a good game. I don't think they've done that yet, but I think they can. So like the idea that they're working on more stuff, I'm like, you know what?
We're trying.
I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna be there until the wheels fall off. We're in on. So that's the degree of my excitement for it.
Exactly. That's exactly the thing. Because you are a true Halloween lover. You love horror games. We're all about it.
Sure.
You love being tortured.
Yes.
Number 7 on the Roper Report and final. This is super simple. I'm not even going to bother really reading it. Bandai Namco is getting a new logo. Kevin, I put it in there if you want to click and open it up. It's happening in like April 2022. They're making the switch over, but there you see it if you're a visual person. The old Bandai Namco one going into this word bubble. It's a pink word bubble, and inside it says Bandai Namco. Good for them. When you see it on your boxes,
stop making press announcements for these sort of things. Remember when they switched their name?
Yeah, when they went from Namco Bandai to Bandai Namco, that will forever fuck me up.
I hope they don't stick with the new logo. Like, I hope they decide to be like, nah, never mind. Because sometimes that happens with like redesigns where you're like, oh, just kidding.
Oh, hey, everybody hates this.
Yeah. Everyone hates everything when it first comes out. Like whenever there's changes to like logos or app designs, like everyone always hates it. Everyone always hates it. So I don't think everyone hating it means that it's gonna be hated forever. But I'm not a fan of it. It does feel like less retro-y, but like yeah, and then the whole like tagline was like, "Oh, the future," like going for the future or something like that.
Have a conversation with people.
Yeah, like right. Like, oh, it's just a message on your phone. But yeah, I just feel like it doesn't really have much personality to it. So I don't know. Maybe they'll have some cool alternates or something, but we'll see.
You know what, Janet? We will see, and I hope we get more alternatives. I hope maybe they stick with the one. Maybe they take the new one. I don't really care that much. But what I do care about is that change or staying or April 2022 is so far away. If I wanted something more immediate, say what came to the mom and grop shops today, where would I go?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah!
FIFA 22 is out on pretty much every platform known to man, including Stadia. Have you started playing? Did you get your copy yet? You all set?
No, I have not started playing yet.
Okay. Phoenix Point is on PS4, Xbox One. Blaze and the Monster Machines. Axel City Racers launches today on console, Stadia, and PC. Cold Sword comes out on Switch. Sounds like Cold Sore or Cole's Sword, but I'll get back to it. Yes. Survival Z on Switch, and then Arvita. Not even the Vita you're thinking of, guys. Is on PC. New dates for you. Slender: The Arrival is coming to mobile devices October 13th. Fire Girl: Hack and Splash Rescue is coming to PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC December 14th. I caught this. I looked at the press release today, watched the trailer. I'm all in on this game. A little game where you're a firefighter and you rescue people, Janet? Yes, please.
Sure.
And then Stranger of Paradise Final Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin is coming out on March 18th, 2022 on PS4, PS5, Xbox all around, PC, Epic Game Store. And then on top of that, the Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin trial version will be available today, October 1st through October 11th. That was from Xbox. I assume it's everywhere, but I actually didn't check. So if you're looking for that game, go get it. I saw on Reset Era, they say bullshit funny, and everybody thought it was funny. Janet.
Yes.
We asked people watching live to go to kindafunny.com/you're-wrong. Tell us what we got wrong as we got it wrong. Nothing here. Everybody in the chat made fun of pronunciations.
Flawless run.
But no problems, right? This isn't a blessing show where there's a bunch of stuff wrong with it, you know? Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday. It is October. You get to have a spooky weekend, and I hope you do watch some horror movies of that. But guess what? Kinda Funny Games Daily is a show that happens each and every weekday here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, youtube.com/kindafunnygames, roosterteeth.com, podcast services around the globe. And next week, we'll be back. Monday, it's going to be Blessing and Tim. Tuesday, it will be me and Timur Hussein. Wednesday, it'll be Blessing and Andy. Thursday, it's going to be me and Tim. Friday, it will be me and Blessing. All of those me's are very tentative, as this baby could come at any time. Janet, of course, is the understudy. If Greg falls through the cracks, Janet steps in because she's amazing. We love Janet.
Thanks.
If you're watching live right now on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, like I said, everybody's about to play some Halo Infinite. Get in there and shoot. They're raising money, of course, for kindafunny.com/bless and kindafunny.com/Andy, which is their links to donate so that they can take part in Panda's All-Star Nickvitational. It's benefiting the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Remember, kindafunny.com/Andy, kindafunny.com/bless are open 24/7. So even if you're listening to this on a podcast later and then you want to go to youtube.com/kindafunnyplays and watch the archive of the Halo stuff, you can still go to those charity links and support those fine young gentlemen as they get ready to try to raise money for breast cancer awareness. Janet, it's the weekend. Where can people keep up with you? Are you streaming? What are you up to?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, Twitch, and everywhere else under the handle GameOnsus. That's GameONYSUS. For big things, I think Saturday, tomorrow, I'm going to be finishing Hitman 3, hopefully. So that should be fun over on Twitch. And then I think this coming Thursday, I'm going to finally do like my Hot Diggity Dog stream where I wear a hot dog costume and I play Animal Crossing and my character is going to wear the same hot dog costume. Yep. And that's it. That's the whole idea. But people are excited about it. So stay tuned on social media because I'll announce it and be promoting it in the lead up. But I think it'll probably happen on that coming Thursday. So
are you still in Animal Crossing like every day?
Not every day. Like I've
stop. And well, this is the post show. I want to hear I want to hear.
Not every day.
It sounds like you played more than me, and I just want to know what's going on. And I got to get ready for the coffee and all that stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, Halo on Twitch. Later, youtube.com/kindafunnyplays. If you want to come see the post show and talk some Animal Crossing, patreon.com/kindafunnygames. You can catch us over there. I've been Greg. That's been Janet. That's been Kevin. And until next time, you've been KFAF'd.